Why are you two standing over here grinning like this a happy occasion? I snapped at Katura and Shantae, who stood by the bar, before I leaned over and I asked the bartender for a bottle of water. I was finally able to break away from Kayla's mom, who had dragged Eve and I around to introduce us to all of her friends and relatives. The whole time Kayla was angry with her because I guess it was supposed to have been a small dinner reception with a few family members and friends, but Mama Rita was like, I never do anything small. She had managed to get most of their family and friends to attend tonight's event, although it was on such short notice. And Caleb had to rescue poor Eve from her because even after I had managed to break away to talk to Stormy and Shlomo, she still carried Eve around so that folks could pinch on her cheeks and gush all over her. Caleb had taken the child out of his mother's arms, and Eve had almost instantly gone to sleep on his shoulder. He now stood by the window holding our slumbering child as he talked with Shlomo. I couldn't believe they knew each other. I mean, how in the world had that happened? We thought you was happy. Hell, you were doing all that smiling with his mama coming up in here blinging with so much ice. Hell, it made me cold, Shantae said, gesturing towards my bracelets. What? I looked at her as if she had gone dumb on me. Maybe I'm mistaken, but didn't y'all just get kidnapped? Katura waved her hand. Yeah, but the fellas was real cool about it, girl. After they put us in the car, they was like, y'all ain't our prisoners. Y'all free to go. They said they could drop us off or they could bring us back here to Mama Rita's to have dinner with y'all to celebrate our wedding. Shantae interrupted her. And I was like, brother, you ain't even gotta ask. I'll take a Mama Rita steak free any day. She did a little dance in her stool as she sipped on her fruity cocktail. I stared at both of them with my mouth open. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. You heifers' lives wasn't in danger? They shook their heads. Katura wore a sympathetic look, but that damn Shantae wore a smirk that made me want to slap her. Son of a... I turned to look at Caleb, so mad and frustrated I could have yelled. And the bastard had the nerve to wink at me from where he stood talking to Shlomo. Yeah, but you got to admit though, he is fine, Shantae whispered, leaning in close to me. She wasn't lying. She spoke the truth. No one wore black like this man, or a suit for that matter. He had taken off his tie when we got in the truck after leaving the courthouse, so now he stood there with a couple buttons undone on his shirt, exposing his strong neck and Adam's apple that moved up and down as he talked. I don't give a damn how fine he is though. The bastard tricked me. Girl, you tripping. He could trick me any day if he gonna deck me out with them kind of jewels. Shantae laughed. Katura sucked on her teeth and rolled her eyes at her. What's wrong with you? Monica ain't no gold digger. Like your trifling self. Why I gotta be a gold digger? Just cause I can appreciate a man that can take care of me. I keep telling you, everybody's dream ain't to marry some African tree climber and live happily ever after in the bush, eating damn bushberries. Now see, that's a shame that you would talk about your own people like that. Katura snapped, putting her hand on her hip. And I keep telling you, them damn Africans ain't my people. Just cause they black, don't make us kin. Katura rolled her eyes again at Shantae and then turned away from her to fully face me. You know, if you don't want to be married to him, you can always get your marriage annulled. I frowned at her. How can I do that if we already have a child together? I don't think it matters. You just have to make sure you don't consummate your marriage. What the hell does consummate your marriage mean? Shantae asked Katura, who exhaled in a long drawn-out breath. It means to have sex. And you would know that if you bothered to pick up a book and read sometime. Wait a minute. Shantae held up her hands. So you think she can live with that fine brother over there and not consummate her marriage? She held up air quotes as she spoke. Yes, I do. She's a strong, independent black woman, and she don't need a man to make her happy. Shantae and I stared at her, blinking. Girl, what am I, a lesbian? I couldn't help but ask that. Shantae held her head back and laughed as loud as ever. Girl, please, she said to Keturah. You can go somewhere with that feminist, I think I'd rather be with a woman mess. I got $100 say she consummate her marriage, if not tonight, definitely within the next 2 weeks. Now it was Keturah and I that stood blinking at Shantae. What am I, a hoochie? Both of them were tripping. Now, I ain't no feminist. I would love to be able to depend on my man. But I ain't no hoochie either. Caleb said we only had to stay married for 2 years. I had enough control over myself to remain untouched till then. No, baby. Shantae's voice cut into my thoughts as if she heard them. Being a hoochie ain't got nothing to do with it. However, what you are is married to a 6-foot plus, strongly muscled, dripping fine alpha male that has been looking at you all night like you are one of Mama Rita's steaks, and he a hungry man that ain't ate steaks in months. She looked at me out the side of her eye, pursing her lips in a way that told me she was getting ready to say something scandalous. Or shall I say 2 years, if you know what I mean. She did a little roll with her body that was so Shantae-like, but she had a good point. Oh my goodness. My gaze went back to Caleb, and sure enough, he was watching me. That look in his eyes was that of a hungry wolf. There was no doubt about it. His gaze slowly went from my mouth to my neck and lower. Then he licked his lips. I had been so caught up in everything that was going on that I didn't even pay attention to how he had been watching me all night. Even when we were in the courthouse, bound to live as man and wife, he had a predatory look in his eyes. And darling, when he gets a hold of what has put that, she paused for just a moment. Look in his eyes. He ain't gonna let it go until it has been good and thoroughly loved. She spoke those words softly, as if she was the voice in my head, narrating my thoughts. And yeah, my girl's strong. But hell, even Mother Teresa ain't got the kind of strength to resist a man like that. Especially if it's been 2 long years since he done tasted the honey. So like I said, I give it 2 weeks. Tops. You think you know Monica so well, but you don't. I'll take that back. When my girl put her mind to do something, she follows through. If she says she wants out of that marriage that has been so ruthlessly forced on her, then that's what she's going to make happen. $100 say. She stay firm and not give in to her oppressor. With a frown on her face, Shantae shook her head at Keturah. Oppressor? Oh, girl, he ain't her oppressor. He her man. And you got it. If after 2 weeks, Miss Monica here, that you claim you know, have not let the boss man over there dip his hand in the cookie jar, then I'll give you $100. But if she does, you pay me and you shut the hell up about Africa. And as they shook hands, making a bet on my life, my eyes, if they had a will of their own, strayed over back across the room to Caleb. He nodded at something Shlomo said before he turned to look back at me. And it was as if he could read my mind, because the grin that came across his face said loud and clear that he wasn't going to play fair. And he most definitely had a taste for the honey. Ladies, can I steal Monica away for a few minutes? Stormy's voice came from over my shoulder. For a brief moment, I closed my eyes. Dang it! I don't need this right now. But I knew there was no way I was getting out of here without having a one-on-one with Storm. She was like my big sister. For as long as I can remember, she's been there for me, had even helped raise me. But I had no idea what I was supposed to say to her. And I was so tired of lying. Lying had gotten me in so much trouble. And yet, I still had to answer to Nana in the morning. I turned on the ball of my left foot. Damn, she must be nervous. She dancing. I heard Shantae whisper to Katora behind me. "Hey, Storm," I said with a big bright smile on my face that I didn't feel. She returned my smile, and hers was just as forced. "Hey, Mon. Can I talk to you for a minute?" I nodded. "I'll be back, y'all," I spoke over my shoulder as I followed Stormy to her table across the room. I eased down into the chair next to her. Oh man, here we go. I inhaled. "Look at you," she began, and for a moment I thought that maybe she won't chew me out too bad. "You're a married woman." I exhaled and I forced another smile on my face. "Yep, I am." I picked up a fork and I began to lightly tap it on the table. To Eve's dad. Yep, to Eve's dad. The tapping got faster. So, she took the fork out of my hand and placed it on the table, drawing my gaze back to her. "How did that happen? I thought you told me he was gone and was never coming back. What are you doing, Mon?" What am I doing? What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I've gotten myself into trouble and I don't know how to get myself out. I felt the tears coming to my eyes and I had no power to stop them. "Storm, I messed up so bad," I whispered to her. My voice quivered with my tears. "No, not here. This is your wedding day and everyone is watching you. Here," she said, putting a napkin in my hand. "Dry your eyes, put a smile on your face, and follow me." It took everything I had in me, but I managed to put a smile on my face as I wiped away my tears. I prayed that for all those who were watching, I looked like a happy bride overcome with joy. I continued to smile as I crossed the floor following Stormy out the banquet hall. I smiled at the waitstaff that was all very curious about me as I made my way through the dining room. And then finally I smiled at Jeff, the valet, as he held the front door open for us. We sat on a bench that was on the other side of the fountain in front of the building. "Okay," she took my hands in hers. "What did you do?" I stared down at our joined hands and I told her everything, not leaving out one detail. When I was done, she was looking at me with a very disapproving look on her face. "I don't have to tell you, you could have gotten yourself killed." I nodded. "Monica, I don't understand the way your mind works. You have got to learn how to stop and think things through. You can't just go off your first thought." All these things she was telling me, she had told me many times before. I held my head down. "I don't know what's wrong with me," I mumbled. She gently lifted my head with her hand. "You're fearless, and that scares the heck out of me." I grinned. "But I'm afraid right now," I whispered. And I was. I was married to a mob boss. "What am I going to do now?" I asked Stormy. She exhaled, giving my hands a little squeeze. "What do you want to do?" "I want to be free. I don't want to be married. I lost so much of my young adult days already by taking care of Eve and Nana, and now I'm married. I'm beginning to feel like I'm suffocating." She tilted her head to the side and lifted her mouth in a grin that didn't reach her eyes. "Oh, little sister, believe it or not, I know exactly how you feel." Shlomo pushed his way into my life when I was very young. And I was afraid. I didn't trust him. More than anything, I wanted to be free of him. But look at us now. He's my best friend. I don't know what my life will be like without him. I can't even imagine it. She reached up and pushed one of my locks that had fallen in my face behind my ear. Sometimes the thing we least expect to be a blessing turns out to be a gift from Yah. I shook my head. Caleb ain't Shlomo. He's a drug dealer, Stormy. He don't work for his money. He kill people for his money. He killed my brother. He ain't no blessing. And then the tears that I had been holding back erupted. Shh, sweetheart, Stormy said before she wrapped her arms around me and hugged me close. I cried in her arms like I had done so many times when I was a little girl. And gently she rubbed my hair. She didn't rush me. She just let me cry until I was all cried out. How do you feel? She asked, taking the napkin out of my hand and drying my eyes with it. Better, I told her. And it was slightly true. Really, I felt exhausted. But that cry had been stuck in my throat ever since my friends got pulled out of the car earlier. So what are you going to do now? She asked quietly, a slight smile on her face. Well, he says after 2 years I'm free. I guess he's going to make arrangements for Eve, help me out with her. Stormy nodded. Mon, my husband is a pretty good judge of character, and he likes Caleb. I looked up at her. Yeah, what's up with that? How did that happen? Why did it happen? Stormy chuckled. Yah guides him to people, and he says Yah guided him to Caleb. I shook my head. I don't know why. He's not a good person. Well, it's like what a very wise man told me once. Our ways are not like Yah's. Our mind is not like his. He sees things that we can't. We're only human. I don't know why the Father led my husband to Caleb, but if he did, it's for a reason. So let that be of comfort to you. I know Stormy was just trying to help, but her ear wasn't to the streets. She didn't know the things I knew about Caleb. I smiled at her. You're right. I'll try to look at it that way. She patted my hand. Good, she said, seeming more cheerful. Shlomo said Caleb was coming by the house for the Shabbat. Are you coming with him? I started to shake my head no, but then her face began to fall and a frown started to take the place of the warm smile she had just wore. I exhaled. Stormy was such a nice, warm-hearted person. I hated to let her down. I nodded. Yeah, Eve and I will be there. Yay, she said, clapping her hands, coming to her feet. Let's go back in. You go ahead. I'm going to just sit out here just for a few more minutes and then I'll be in. She looked around. Are you sure? Stormy, the mama hen. Yeah, I'm sure. Go ahead. I'll be there shortly. Just want to enjoy this breeze a little while longer. She nodded, but I could see she didn't want to leave without me. Go on, I told her, and reluctantly she walked inside. When she was gone, I let my shoulders drop, and I rested my back against the fountain. It's amazing how everyone thought I was so fearless. I wasn't. I was scared senseless most of the time. I was scared for my Nana's health. I was scared that I wasn't giving Eve all the things she needed to be a well-rounded human being. I was scared that I won't be able to keep the boarding house running. Hey, sister-in-law, Rashid said before sprawling out on the bench next to me. I screeched because he wasn't gentle about it. Oh, my fault. Did I bump into you? I could tell by the humor I heard in his voice that he knew damn well he had bumped into me and wasn't the least bit sorry. Yeah, you did, I snapped. What do you want? It was no need of us to even pretend like we liked each other. Damn, can't I come talk to my new sister-in-law that, I don't know, just showed up out of nowhere with my brother's baby without having a motive? I rolled my eyes as I slid as far away from him as I could. I didn't like touching him at all. Everyone has a motive, I told him, wishing he would just get up and leave. Yeah, everybody do. So, he turned to face me on a bench. What's yours? I frowned. Excuse me? A grin appeared on his face. I would have said his handsome face, but every time he looked at me, it was always filled with hate. So to me, his face was ugly. Come on, sis. You just showed up with my brother's bastard child, forcing him to marry you. What the world was with these people and bastard children? Hell, half the people in the ghetto was bastards. I was a bastard. I never even met my father. Look, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't force him to marry me. It was quite the opposite. He reached for one of my locks, but I slapped his hand away from me. I heard a little rumor. He spoke slowly, as if he was telling me a secret. You see, I heard you was responsible for my brother getting locked up. Is that true? Something in his tone told me that at this moment, my life was in danger. Again, I don't know what you're talking about. He smiled. If I find out that it was you who was responsible for my brother in a effing cage, he growled, he gonna be a single daddy. Yeah, I'll be right back. Yeah, I'm just gonna check on Monica. Caleb's voice came from somewhere on the other side of the fountain. Shh, Rashid said, putting his finger to his lips. We over here, bro, he called out to Caleb. My irritation level grew when I rounded the corner and saw my wife sitting with my knuckle-headed brother. I clenched my fists together, trying to calm my anger. It was bad enough my mother pretended she didn't understand. I just wanted a small dinner to celebrate my marriage. No. In true fashion, she had to go overboard, as usual. She invited family and friends I haven't seen since I was a kid. And now, something that should have taken only a couple hours had dragged on for the better part of the night. The only thing I wanted to do was take my wife home, lay her out on the bed, and taste what I was starved for. For 2.5 years, I thought of nothing more than the sweetness I had sampled that morning I went to jail. What is the irony of hungering for someone that I should have put to rest? What's going on? I asked as I looked at the distressed look on Monica's beautiful face. Her shoulders were tense and she was clenching the bench so hard her knuckles had turned white. Come here, baby, I told her, holding out my hand. There was something in me that was extremely possessive of her. I have never felt this way about a woman. She hopped up off the bench, or more like pointed her right foot forward and did a little leap off the bench. That was something else I dug about her. She danced when she moved. Sometime when somebody called her name and she turned around, she went up on her toes and did a little swirl. When she stands most of the time, she would have one foot planted flat and the other toe facing down. My little ballerina. When she came to me, she took my hand with both of her hands and squeezed it tight. I frowned. That kind of affection from her wasn't normal. Something was wrong with her. My eyes flew to my brother as I pulled her closer, wrapping my arm around her. She didn't fight this action. In fact, she tucked herself up under my arm. What the hell? She was shaking. What's the matter, baby? Did Rashid say something to you? I asked. My irritation was building swiftly into anger. If he said something or did something to upset her, I was going to hurt him bad. What you say to her? I said from between clenched teeth. The stupid look on his face made me want to lay hands on him. She put her hand on my chest trying to calm me. Another thing she did that I loved because it did in fact calm me. Nothing, man. How you gonna get married with an anger problem? Rashid asked. I bit down on my teeth. I had nagged this little knucklehead into going back to high school and finishing. He stayed in there one semester. In the one semester, he took a psychology class. Now the little nigga thought he had to know how to diagnose me with a damn anger problem. Rashid, don't play with me. I ain't in the mood. I will scrape the concrete with your butt. What you say to her? I spat. Caleb, I'm just tired. I want to go home. She spoke softly, looking up at me. Yeah, Caleb, she just tired. She want to go home. Shut up, I pointed at him. Then I looked down at her, trying to see what she was hiding from me. My brother said something to upset her. There was no doubt about it. But what? Tell me what he said, sweetheart. I touched her soft cheek because I needed to touch her. I needed to touch more of her so bad that I feared that when I finally did, my hunger would cause the savage to come out of me. He didn't say anything. It's been a long night. She even tried to smile to reassure me, but I wasn't buying it. I smiled back at her. Okay, go ahead in and start getting Eve ready. We'll leave in a minute. She nodded her head and practically ran back into the building. I waited till she was through the doors before I snatched Rashid's ass up off the bench. Hey, man, he yelled as his feet came off the ground. What you say to her? I growled in his face. He grabbed at my hands. Nothing. I just welcomed her to the family. I shook him. Stop lying. I ain't lying. I threw him back down on the bench. I was too tired to deal with him right now. Let me find out. I pointed at him. He straightened out his shirt. Man, forget her. What about the Cubans? Dominique ain't trying to do business with me until he hear from you. But you already know that. You've been acting funny as hell since you got out. I've been trying to get up with you, but you act like you ain't got time for a nigga. I exhaled. I didn't have time to deal with his whining right now, I'll tell you that. I had a little hottie set up for you for after you got out, and you faked me. I've been trying to get up with you just to hang out a bit, but all of a sudden you too busy to even holler at your boy. He began to pace in front of me. Damn. Now he made me feel like crap because, truth be told, I have been avoiding him. Things have changed for me. I didn't even understand fully what was happening, but I always felt change when he came in my life. Like when my father died and King, who at the time had been my dad's lieutenant, had reached in to hug my grieving mother, telling her that he will always be there for her. Or that night Monica danced on my patio. However, when I first saw Shlomo sit on the other side of the glass partition waiting to speak to me, I had felt my world shift. I knew that after that day, I would never be the same. I mean, what's up? I ain't your mans no more? You ain't got my back no more? I rubbed the back of my neck. I was so tired. I haven't slept more than a couple of hours a night for the last 3 years. I loved my brother, raised him like he was my own, but he had become a burden to me. He was determined to continue in his father's legacy. At first it didn't bother me. He did his thing, I did mine. But he was getting reckless, sloppy in his dealings. The Cubans wanted to kill him. I had to go and talk to Dominique myself to assure him that I would keep Rashid in line. But even that was wearing me down. I told him that if he was determined to move weight, like his punk ass daddy, then he had better keep it away from any of my establishments. But he hadn't, and it was because of him that I ended up with 2 years in prison. I used my fingers to try to rub away some of the tension behind my eyes. I reminded myself for the 1,000th time that if something happened to him, it would kill our mother. She depended on me to keep Rashid alive, to keep him from ending up like his daddy. So whether I liked it or not, I was my brother's keeper. Look, I exhaled. You know I always got your back. Never doubt that. You ain't acting like it though. Bruh, I'm sorry about the stash. Had I known the feds would get ready to raid your warehouse, you already know it wouldn't have been there. And you got my word, as soon as I find out who snitched, they dead. I promise you that. I've already taken care of that. You don't need to worry about it. The last thing I needed was for him to find out it was Monica who got the ball rolling in that direction. He frowned at me. What you mean, don't worry about it? You my brother. And I may not be your main man's no more, but you still mine. You got my loyalty forever. Somebody set you up, got you thrown into a cage like an animal, and that person gonna pay. That person gonna pay for what they did to you with their life. See, this is what pissed me off. Just like his punk ass daddy, he always placed blame for his mess on somebody else's shoulders. What they did, I asked, taking a step toward him. As I felt my anger rising, wisely he bagged up a few. Nigga, it was you who put the dope in my parts warehouse. I pointed my finger at his head, but what I really wanted to do was knock him in it. I told you to keep that shit away from my place. You put it there anyway. You did that. Nobody else. You the reason I got locked up. I drew myself up straight. Nah, you know what? That wasn't true. Here I go doing what I had just accused him of doing. I shook my head. You know what? I take that back. I'm the reason I got locked up. I should have shut down your operation a long time ago. The muscle ticked in his jaw. He was speechless cause how could he deny facts? He looked off to the side and spit on the ground before taking his ball cap off, running his head down his immaculately waved hair, before putting the hat back on and cocking it to the left. Something he did when guilty ever since he was a small boy. When his gaze came back to mine, his guilt had passed, no doubt. He had already placed the blame for his action on somebody else. Hey, look, I went by your apartment yesterday and waited for you to come home. Mama made you some food. I called Tiny and he told me you was staying at the damn boarding house. What's up with that? What happened while you was locked up? You ain't the same, bro. He spat on the ground again and shoved his hands in his pocket. And now all of a sudden, you got a wife and kid. Come on, man. How you even know that's your baby? The look in my eye caused him to take another step back. He threw up his hands. I'm just saying, you know how these tricks? He didn't get the chance to finish that. I snatched him up off his feet again, throwing him against the wall. With one hand, I held him there by the collar. With the other, I pointed at his face. You see, I was only going to tell him this one time, and me and him were never going to have this conversation again. Monica ain't no trick. She ain't no bitch. She ain't no hoe. She the mother of my child, and you going to respect her. He snatched away from me with a frown on his face that reminded me of when he was little and used to throw tantrums. Well, when the hell was you going to fill me in on all these changes, he yelled. The Cubans waiting to hear from you. You ain't even reached out to them for me. He was good and into his fit by now. But that was my little bruh for you. When the world got tough, he ran to his big brother to smooth things out for him. But you see, I've changed. I had a family now. I found out who I am. And most importantly, I may have found what has been calling me for years now. Look, man, I ain't supporting you with the Cubans no more. It's time for you to let that go. He looked at me as if I had just spoke a curse on him. Let that go? What you mean, let that go? Just what I said. We need to lay that part of the family business to rest. Then what am I supposed to do? I knew what was coming next. See, this was his thing. This was an ongoing argument between the two of us ever since my stepdaddy died. Dad, he began, but I cut him on right on off. He ain't my father, man. I corrected him. My brother chose to turn a blind eye to the way his father treated me. But it wasn't a day that went by that old Jerome King didn't remind me that I was a bastard and not entitled to his empire. That legacy he left to Rashid. Dad, he continued anyway, left you the legit side of the business. He left me the dope side. Now you want to take that from me? First of all, Dad didn't leave me nothing. I worked that side of the business. I built it to what it is today without his help. He ain't do nothing but take credit for it. And I built the other side of the business to what it is today, he said, hitting his chest with his fist. I bit down on my teeth. He said, this boy, he was pissing me off. Then what you need me for? My voice was rising because I was getting real close to hurting my little brother. If you built that side of the business, why you always running back to me? Okay. Instantly, I regretted my words. Although it was true, King treated me like crap. Rashid and I have always been very close. He was mine. I raised him. Y'all knows his father has never been there for him. Oh, okay. So we finally got to the root of the matter. You tired of me. I'm a burden to you. And now that you got yourself a new wife and baby, you don't mess with me no more, right? I rub my hand over my head. Man, you know that ain't what I mean. It's time for you to do something different. Get out of the dope game. I ain't calling Dominique and telling him I got your back if anything happens, cause I don't. I shouldn't have supported that shit in the first place. I did it cause you felt like it was your legacy. But that's a legacy. It ain't nothing to be proud of. And your daddy was a piece of shit for passing that on to you. My daddy was a piece of shit for the way he treated you, yes. If he was alive, I'd kill that nigga again because of it. But he wasn't wrong for teaching me how to survive on these streets. I opened my eyes, Rashid. I'm surviving just fine. Why not follow after me? Why you gotta follow after that nigga? Cuz, it's all I know. Everybody didn't go to fancy schools like you, remember that. See, it was my piece of daddy that sent you to the best schools. Cuz the nigga was trying to get rid of me. To get me out the house. So yeah, he shipped me away to school. And while you was there, brother, I was out here on these streets. And now you say you're gonna take that away. The only thing I know. I reached out to him and I grabbed him around his neck, bringing him in, wrapping my arms around him in a hug. It broke my heart what his father did to him. Every day I work to undo the damage. We're gonna get through this together. I'm gonna always make sure you eat, bruh. And I'm gonna always make sure you get paid. He looked up at me. What about the girl? I frowned at him. What girl? My wife? He nodded. How you gonna look after me and Mom with her in your life? Just like always. Having a wife won't change nothing. I'm gonna always take care of you and Mom. He took my arm from around his shoulder. Yeah, I bet, he said softly, under his breath, before he turned to go back inside the restaurant. I stood for a minute and watched him go. I was all Rashid ever really knew as a father figure. I looked out for him ever since our mother came home from the hospital with him in her arms. I was 9 years old. And when his father had shipped me off to school, Rashid and I spoke on the phone several times a day. If he had a problem, I solved it. And when I came home on the weekends, we were inseparable. Naturally, he feared now that I had a family of my own that he and I would lose what we had. But I just had to show him and Mom that I can take care of them and their needs and take care of my wife and kid at the same time.